This is my video for the first GLP interaction. I met with my partner, she, yesterday, and we got along really well. It went well, and I learned a lot about the education system in China that I didn't know about. A really big difference that was prominent to me from the beginning when we started talking was her class time in high school went from 7:30 in the morning to 5:30 in the evening, with a lunch break in between. And then from 7 to 10 p.m. they had to stay at school and do homework and like self-study time, she called it. Whereas we just went at 8 and left at 3, and after 3 it was pretty much everything dedicated to like sports or clubs or whatever extracurricular you did. And she also said that she was involved in clubs, and she said clubs were one of the things that made her happy in high school and that she looked forward to. But it seemed like they were a lot less of a focus there, which was a difference, as well as just the general structure was a difference. One thing that my partner definitely emphasized a lot throughout our discussion was how competitive schooling is in China in terms of schoolwork and testing especially, which I kind of always felt that my school was competitive. It was a public school here in Michigan, so maybe not like as competitive as like a private high school or something, but I definitely felt like people were like kind of competing a lot to get an edge up on like college admissions and scholarships, but it seemed like that was way amplified in my partner's school in China, which she said she's from South China, but she said it was pretty much the same throughout all of China, that it was very, very competitive. And something that we talked a lot about was testing. Our big tests here, obviously ACT and the SAT, you kind of get a choice between those two, and you can take them as many times as you want as long as you can pay for that. Whereas in China, they just take the one test, one like college aptitude test called the Gaiko. I might be messing that up now that I'm alone, but that was like a huge, huge deal, where they like was on the same day every year for all the students. You took it once a year, and then if you don't do well enough, you actually have to retake your senior year of high school. And they like block off the streets on the testing day for everyone except for the students, and it's a huge deal. And she said she studied and to prepare did a lot of practice, which was kind of another difference because in terms of preparation, I did like a couple of SAT like workshops, but I didn't really practice or put that much effort into it. Where if I lived in China, then I probably would not have a choice but to put effort into it. I thought that was interesting because I feel like standardized testing is not always the best way to measure a student's intelligence or like their general aptitude or college readiness, which kind of relates to what we've been talking about intelligence in class. We kind of discuss these different theories and how there's these different types of intelligence, like musical, spatial. It's not all like standardized testing like worthy, but it seems like that they kind of de-emphasize the other types of intelligence in China by putting so much importance on this one test. But my partner actually seemed to like that, and she kind of defended that. She said that it was really a big way for students who were economically like disadvantaged to kind of have more of an opportunity to like give themselves a better future, because as long as you did well in this test, then like you could get into a good college, you could make more money, you can make a better future for yourself and your future family. So that was really interesting. That was a different perspective that I definitely wouldn't have considered if I was just like reading about this online or something. So that's where the discussion came in really helpful, I think. So those were the big differences. We also had a lot of similarities. When we were sharing pictures, we both noticed a lot of the same things, like we just like hanging out with our friends and we miss them and kind of wonder what they're up to, like those people that we're not in contact with anymore. We both were worried about math. Oh my gosh, and like we met in math class and she's definitely better at math than I am, but I thought it was cool that we both like struggled with math in high school. I know in my reflection I said that like she was better at math than I was, and maybe that was because like of a cultural difference, but I think that was kind of like an unfair prejudgment, which is something else we talked about in class. not necessarily with a negative evaluation, but it was definitely a prejudgment of me to make that just because, like, she's Chinese, she's good at math, so I'm glad that I'm coming away from that. Um, but I definitely learned a lot about, like, the structural differences and cultural priorities from this interaction, and I'm really excited for the next one because she's really cool. I like talking to her, and I feel like I just learned so much even from our short lunch and conversation. So, yeah, that's all.